There absolutely is. And one of those competitors up here in the top left-hand corner of the map is going to look to try and make something happen here. He is the blue Protoss player from Litecoin Gaming. It's Drogo.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand side, representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Ooh. Gas first from Clem with an early SCV leaving around the same time as building it. That most likely means he's going to go for an engineering bay block here, Ravi.
All right. Yeah, well, we can see that Drogo is actually respecting the possibility of maybe some proxies checking his natural, making sure there's nothing funky happening over here. Is going to miss the SCV making its way into the naturals. Won't quite have as much of a heads up on the exact timing of that SCV moving forward. And the fact that there is going to be that engineering bay block starting on up in his natural either.
He wasn't too late to getting a probe down here, but this is always a little bit annoying. It's going to go for the probe pool here. Holy crap, that's a lot of probes as well. I saw a little bit of surprise in Clem's face there, and I'm not surprised because most of the time you tend to find there's a couple of reactions. You either pull like
start another.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not actually surprised. Like this for Drogo, and Drogo's eyebrows just went up. He's like, "What? You went for another one here?" And
start one more. No, that's too late.
That SCV will be able to get out of here, but can we have a look at the income graph here? Because Drogo's lost a lot of mining time from this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Protoss players are definitely one of the races that have pretty well-defined build orders and timings and stuff that they want to hit, how their economy and stuff lines up. Having to do a probe pull for that long really does hurt a lot of the normals, build order optimizations and stuff that you have going for you. So it's not going to be the funnest kind of start over here for this series for Drogo. I really like that Clem was able to kind of start off the series that way.
Yeah, me too. I was going to think about like the responses. Like, I remember playing Max Packs quite some time ago, and we talked about what is the best response, and kind of, I'm not going to say figured it out, but very often Protossers were doing this kind of stuff, which always kind of put the Protoss in a bit of a tricky spot. Whereas going for a Nexus elsewhere and just kind of letting it happen seemed to be a lot easier. That being said, what Clem's going for here, like the reactor follow-up along with getting out Marines in a Cyclone, definitely cool because very often it's a Hellion follow-up, whereas here, he's kind of playing as if he knows it's going to be a Stargate as a response because it's nearly always a Stargate, so almost countering that in itself, which very smart play by Clem.
Yeah, man, Clem moving forward with his Marines, not even allowing the probe to get to the natural, just actually snipes it off as it's going up that ramp to the high ground. Really, really nice denial of any kind of scouting information whatsoever here, outside of the fact that there were a handful of Marines that were made. And that is still going to be revealing a tiny bit that Drogo's going to have to be somewhat careful about this attack. He's going to be starting up this Oracle over here. He doesn't have a pylon. He doesn't have a shield battery. I'm getting really, really worried here for Drogo right now, Ben.
As you should be, Ravi. Like, this is a terrible start. And this turning up right here, right now, and Drogo's like, what? You have 5 Marines and a Cyclone? He's just like, well, yeah, I got hard countered about as much as you can, and that Oracle will come out, and it will deal quite a bit of damage, getting focus fired by the Marines, but the Marines getting surrounded quite a chunk. And, oh my goodness, that Oracle living there. That, I gotta tell you, that went from bad to actually not that terrible for Drogo, because that could have been game-ending. I really think so.
Yeah, being able to snipe off all of those units just barely was big. And I mean, the Cyclone is actually also one attack away from being able to also potentially snipe off that Oracle. So very, very clutch. He was able to keep that alive and, just be able to now pair it up with a second Oracle that's coming on out. Clem has another Cyclone that he made, and he has a third Cyclone that he's making right now, Ben.
I don't even mind this, Like, we do see that Drogo's really committing to Oracles here, because that's the only tech option he had. And after taking a bit of damage, going into Phoenix, when you know your opponent's gone for quite a few Marines already, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. That being said, Clem is, like, he already has an engineering bay up. He's producing 3 Marines at a time, getting his stim, getting his siege tanks going. And Drogo's economy was definitely thwarted here. But, yeah, this really all bides on what can these oracles get done, if anything.
Well, for now, it's just going to be a revelation. Keep an eye out on the army. He sees Tech Lab still on that factory and everything. It might have caught wind of these Marines moving forward.
But going into Phoenix now? Oh my goodness. Is there a scan available? Oh my god. Wow, that is very fortunate for Drogo.
Calculated. Calculated. Oh no! Calculated!
Calculated. And these oracles, they are they're playing with fire here, Ravi. They're playing with super fire, actually.
These oracles are literally Drogo's DreamHack run in a nutshell. Like, how are they still here? And it's just everyone asking the question, like, how is this still alive right now? But this is still a pretty scary push in over here. Shield Battery Overcharge going to help keep some of these Adepts alive against the Siege Tank fire. Phoenix comes forward, lifts up the tank as the Marines have to retreat on out. How is Drogo making all this work? Did he also get Stim? No, he did not.
Did not get Stim, lost an Oracle. He is getting charged behind all this, but he is up against somebody that's already producing reacted Widowmine, which is good. All things said and done, though, Drogo's... he's got himself out of a really horrible situation, but he's not out of it just yet. 6 gateways on the way, all at the same time. He's already on 2 gateways, so going up to 8 gates. I think Drogo, like the fact that he's going to go for a lot of battle units very quickly and not going for the tech, I think that's the right call.
Well, he's definitely going to have a very scary army at some point. Another one of the oracles goes down. That last oracle really has a lot riding on its shoulders to just keep an eye out for things and to potentially be the only source of detection here against the Widow Mines if he is going to go for a really big charge lot army. Very, very important to keep that last oracle alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's his scouting. That's all he has for scouting right now. Like, he doesn't have a robo on the map, which means if Clem was to ever add on an armory, like, the only detection he has is from that oracle. Like, Drogo is... He's relying on a thread here. It's so difficult for him. +1 is finishing up very soon for Clem, as is Combat Shield. And this army from Drogo, it's not the biggest just yet, but Charge does finish now.
Woo. Well, Widowmine's getting a lot of the charge lots very, very low on hit points. The Marines able to finish off a handful of them. A warp in happens in front of the army, but a few of these charge lots are able to buy time. One of the front line Cyclones does end up falling over here. Oracle also staying alive in the back, but does not have any energy. Thankfully for it, I don't think there's any real Widow Mines to worry about anymore. The only Widow Mine left over is closer to the 3rd base, and Clem is having a lot of trouble breaking through here. I think after the Archon finishes up, that should be one of the linchpins that he needs to help defend over here. If he has a shield battery overcharge available soon, no, not for a bit.
The retarget on both Widow Mines onto that Archon to get it out of the way, get rid of the splash, and this was just Clem playing super damn well in this game one, and Drogo. Wow, I mean, he had a few fortunate things happen to him, did Drogo, but Clem still absolutely demolished him when it came down to the fight.
Absolutely. Like you were saying, a lot of the little bits of micro there from Clem really allowing him to secure an even better exchange there than otherwise would have been. Nicely done. And that's going to be kind of weird start there for Drogo in this series, because you're talking a little bit about, you know, what's going to be going through both of their heads and everything. Zombiger was saying, like, Clem might even not feel so great if he loses a map, but this is so far a strong start for Clem. And I mean, how do you feel about how that game went kind of overall for Drogo?
It was tough. I think his reaction to the initial engineering bay block is one that Clem was probably very happy with. Because you know, as soon as if I see 4 probes pulled, I'm already kind of like, okay, that's not bad. 6, I was like, holy crap, this is definitely putting a dent in his economy. Then Clem went for the counter with the Cyclone and the Marines, which was the best thing you can do against a Stargate opening almost. Like, Drogo wasn't expecting that whatsoever. I do think that Drogo mishandled the fight there at the end, because a lot of the Zealots kind of grouped up on the Widow Mines that shot and then got blown up by the Widow Mines, so he was kind of fighting with just a portion of his army. Shield Battery Overcharge was popped really early as well. Just a bit of mishandling, but honestly, this is going to be a rough match for Drogo, whether things go his way or not.
That is probably going to be the case. But here we go. We're moving into game number 2 as we start up here in the top right-hand side of the map. Top of the red Terran player from Team Liquid. He is Clem.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side as the blue Protoss representing Litecoin, it is PtitDrogo. Definitely interesting as to what's going to happen this game. Clem, there isn't the gas first opening, and so far there isn't a SCV crossing the map. If he wanted to go for any sort of engineering bay block, now would be the time, but not going to go for it this game. So we're going to be looking at a far more standard opening by Clem this time, which, after getting a bit of a cheeky win on a light shade there with that opening, and he did get a massive advantage as well, doing something a bit more, maybe more of PtitDrogo's alley.
Yeah, man, I do wonder how Drogo is going to try and open up on this game now, because, yeah, that last game got off to like a weird start and everything. And since, like you said, he's not going to have to deal with some of that kind of stuff, now maybe there's an opportunity for Drogo to have a little bit more control over what he wants to do opening-wise, how he wants to actually play things out. Whereas last game may have been a little bit of a reactions to like things that were going not so great, with like the Marine push and the Cyclones and all the other kind of stuff happening.
These openings are interesting. So PtitDrogo scouted kind of close to where his third was for a proxy over there, but then ran back home with the probe. So, I mean, a proxy could have been anywhere else and he wouldn't have spotted it. He has no idea what Clem's doing this game. And Clem, seeing that he didn't get scouted, he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll scout you. I'll get a reactor up as well, because I don't have to deal with a pesky probe. And Drogo doing an opening like this always, it always frustrates me as a Terran. And I don't know whether Clem would feel the same, but it's definitely the Protoss cutting corners that aren't always necessary. But Clem does scout the main base, gets to, in fact, did he scout the gases? No, he didn't. That's an interesting play.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot actually pushing that SCV back, just a single probe kind of harassing him. And looks like those two probes going to finally head over to the natural, start mining and everything. But yeah, didn't quite catch full vision of everything. But Clem is already kind of just down and ready to grab that third expansion, taking it very, very quickly over here.
Yeah, and look at this as well. Like he's made 4 Marines because he did have fast Marines with that reactor. 3 CC follow-up. Drogo is opting for the Stargate. Now, I know this is obviously a way more comfortable start for Drogo, given that he didn't start off getting NG Bay block, but yeah. I am curious about where they both go. Phoenix. I think this is maybe the one opening that Drogo really didn't want to go up against, but if we look at Drogo's vision, he's seen absolutely nothing. Like, he has no idea. If he didn't know what race he opened up against, like didn't check out anything, he has no idea right now. Like, he is playing as blind as they come.
He has confirmed that at least one SCV from Clem was not mining as it scouted him. That is the limits of Drogo's information right now about this game. And, well, he's about to find out, as I think, well, there was one of the Phoenix moving around the map, but he actually even pulls that before it gets over to the natural. He's, I guess, maybe, I'm actually really curious. Is he just scouting around for other things that could be happening? Did he reconsider and decide, no, I want to, like, kind of surprise him a little bit and not reveal the Phoenix too early on?
Yeah, not revealing your Phoenix is a big deal. He's also checked for the proxy locations where it could have been like a, you know, a starport or anything like that. Clem doesn't see a third over here, so he might be assuming that it's a third in the other location, so we'll check to see if a scan does come down or anything like that. But Drogo's very methodical about his timings. If he sees something at X time, it'll be like, okay, I'm going to react in this way. So he's got a very kind of like tree branch. What are those? Is it just a tree diagram of how you go about things?
Yeah, like branching logic kind of thing. Where
yeah,
like,
he's very systematic about it all. Clem being so diligent with his scouting, by the way.
Yeah, he has been on the exact opposite end of Drogo on that, where he's absolutely had a lot of continuous kind of checks around the map and continuing to keep some stuff over at the front lines. Marine makes its way forward. I don't know if he actually caught wind of the Phoenix there.
I don't know either, but it doesn't even matter at this point. Like, he's Phoenix. The last thing they wanted to run into was, like, now Clem knows, and he's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I don't have a turret at my natural, which is kind of, like, annoying, but and he doesn't have a turret in his main either, but, or in fact, he does, but it's a weird spot. Gets a Phoenix. I think Drogo, upon seeing this third CC, and now Clem was able to mule up like a madman, this is kind of like the one thing that Drogo really didn't want to go up against.
Yeah, he's actually not even remaking the Phoenix that he lost. He's just going to be sticking around on the 4. He's picking off a handful of the reinforcements. I do like being able to pick some of those off because one of the big scary things now is that Drogo invested into that. He's also invested into a Robo Bay that hasn't had any yield whatsoever, and Clem is coming to attack him right now. This is potentially a big do or die moment over here. And right now, Ben, I'm leaning toward die.
Yeah, I mean, these Phoenix obviously can lift stuff up, but nothing was ready. Nothing was ready. This is a 3cc build that's actually able to kill the Protoss here. Like, Drogo, yeah, this just did not work out for Drogo whatsoever this game.
Yeah,
but this,
really unfortunate.
I can't even necessarily super blame Drogo. Like, this was just a build order loss. Like, straight up build order loss.
And I mean, it's one of those things where maybe you're not feeling as confident against someone. Oh, God, I lose the Colossus too. You're not feeling as confident versus someone. You're like, okay, if I just cut all the corners possible, so he's keeping his probes at home so they can get maximum mining time. Like, you don't reveal the Phoenix, but that also means you're not scouting. Basically, he gave up all of his scouting information in order to just try and take as many leads as possible, and it just ended up being the worst case scenario. And he didn't catch a wind of it because he was cutting all the corners and taking a risk. But yeah, it's just the risks absolutely do not pay off here.
Absolutely do not pay off at all. And I mean, this is quite a chunk of bio. These guys don't have blink. It just goes from bad to worse for Drogo. And the thing is, Clem, he's actually on 3 bases behind this, and Drogo knows it. GG. Like, he went for the absolute greediest way that you can play 2 bases. Even the third's late. The thing is, I never understand a play like this, because this could make Clem feel very kind of worried, seeing that opponent doesn't probe scout. But he just went 3cc, man. Like, Clem, he just had no fear whatsoever. But very unfortunate for Drogo, the stars did not align for him in that game.
Yeah, that is it's a tough loss in some ways. In some ways, you can kind of like be the player that says, yes, like, it was a build order loss. Like, it sucks. I took a bunch of these risks and they didn't pay off, so let's just move in the next game. But it also really stings when it's game 2 and a best of 5. Like, now you have to play one more and you're just thinking like, man, I really just don't want to go out 3-0 at least. I want to take a map. I want to have like a close game or something. But it's just, man, what do you do in game 3 after that?
It's tough, because if Drogo's game plan here is, damn, I'm against Clem, like, this was maybe the roughest draw in this round I could have got. Then if he's feeling that he needs to do weird things to try and get an edge, which is actually a valid plan, but it's not paying off. Maybe he goes back to, all right, I'll scout and I'll see what I can do. Because Drogo isn't bad. Like, he can definitely take maps off Clem. It's just he lost the coin flip there quite damn hard. But the thing is, he brought the coin flip upon himself with how he played. And I mean, the small edge he would have got is maybe a few extra minerals from not scouting, which would have helped. I don't know, Ravi. It's a tough one, because I don't think he needs to resort to those kind of measures, because I actually think Drogo's quite good.
Yeah, I agree with that, but we'll see. We're down here in the bottom left-hand side of the map on top of the player that is now at match point from Team Liquid. He's in red. He is Clem.
And spawning over in the top right on 2K Atmospheres, it is PtitDrogo. Did I say top left or did I say top right?
I don't know, Ben. Honestly,
I hope I said top right. You know, like, we talked earlier. It's like I got that Vax earlier, and it's like, might be playing with my head a little bit. And I know last night when I was casting, I got a bit tired, and Lings went through a speed zone. I said vroom vroom. Like, loopy things have been happening to me, Ravi.
Ben, I feel you though, and like, here's a little peek behind the curtain, guys. I honestly think most of the time we do the player intros, we kind of have like after you've done enough of them, I'm pretty sure most of the casters are not actually like paying that much attention when they're doing the player intros. We're either watching little nuances of things that are happening in the game, or I'm like looking at Liquipedia or looking at a Ligulac or something else. I'm very rarely actually paying that much attention during the intro.
Wow, Ravi, you're admitting that? Guys, I'm paying full attention to everything, okay? At all times.
You're paying attention to what you're saying? Like, oh, look, you're paying attention to the game I can get. Paying attention to what you're actually saying.
Yeah, I was gonna see how long I could bullshit this one for, but no, even I can't believe myself. But that is something that's sad. So Drogo scouted this game. He went for Cybercore before Nexus. Clem also scouts this game, but gets the probe. Stalker first by Drogo. This is something that Roddy's been a fan of since 2010. Never stopped being a fan of. Never stopped. But if your opponent makes a bunker, it's kind of like, whoa, this guy just scouts worse than an adept and kind of signals that I'm probably going to be looking to play Blink Stalkers. That being said, he goes with the adept afterwards. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The Stalker, I mean, I am also a big fan of it, Ben. I feel like there's a little high that you get from that era of Cloud Kingdom where Terran players just didn't make bunkers at their front. And the feeling of just making like two stalkers and walking across the map and killing the Terran player, it's a pretty good feeling. But, well, stalkers should still be able to at least chip away at some of the hit points over here, which can still be nice. And whoa, he is committing pretty far in over there. Gets one Marine, but takes a lot of damage on that stalker.
Yeah, I'm not even sure Drogo's happy with that, you know. That's a stalker that isn't going to be around long next fight that comes. The adept though, the follow-up, I liked that. That is cool because now like the reason that the adept is just better at scouting is because it can just use the shade, which is it's free. You can constantly get a poke in, constantly takes and taxes the Terran's attention. The thing is with the stalker initially, that to me always is like, all right, that's a signal that the Protoss is going blink, and the fact that Drogo is now going blink as well, Clem can look at that and be like, well, I'm probably against Blink Stalkers because that's the there's no reason to go adept before the Stalker.
Yeah, this is definitely
no reason to go Stalker before the adept. Sorry.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that this is definitely going to make things. I agree with you. A lot easier for Clem to sort of say, well, what do I need to do to be prepared for a Blink Stalker attack? And I mean, having the tech lab on the factory, getting out, say, a siege tank or something, and getting it well positioned in a good spot. Or completely ignoring what I said and building a new tech lab for your factory so you can get a tech lab on your starport. Is this for a Raven?
It is for a Raven, most likely. And that is exactly what he's going for. But the Widowmine drop is on the way. I think Drogo, like, this was obviously a mistake by Clem letting this adept in. And for Drogo, oh my god, he let it out as well. But runs into the wrong neighborhood, and the Marines do get it in the end.
Yeah. Nice pick off over there. Does manage to save the SCV as well. Widowmine drop does get entirely deflected over there. Medevac is going to survive, thankfully, for Clem. But yeah, not able to make anything happen on the other side of the map. How many gateways did Drogo end up going for? He's still just on the 2 gateways, so this Blink Stalker, it almost just ends up being kind of defensive since he's not moving out at all with any of the Stalkers.
This is a far more standard build from Drogo this game. Like the 2 gate into Robo into the 3rd. Like it's a pretty damn quick 3rd as well. But this game, he's just playing way more straight up. Like no corner was really cut. I even like the fast charge from him as well. Like, yeah, this game from Drogo is far more tight and going for a lot of gateways here, kind of avoiding the tech. And the fact that he held off that Widowmine in the way that he did, this is already, yeah, it's looking a lot better for Drogo.
Yeah, absolutely. This has definitely been this kind of start that he was at least hoping would, at a minimum, kind of go his way for some of these games that he has not really quite been able to find just yet. Well, in the meanwhile, we do still have Clem just kind of getting up his good old Widowmine count. Has his Raven over here for a little bit harassed. That one Stalker does not have that many hit points. It's going to go down. Oh, man. Oh, even tried to blink out.
Poor little fella tried to blink out, but Drogo just have Stalkers in the main. Did have an Observer as well, ready for this. Oh my god, look where they dropped. That was unfortunate. That was unfortunate.
Ben, I'm not gonna lie. If you give me a screenshot of the area where that medevac was when it started dropping those Widowmines and you asked me where the mine's gonna drop, I would not have guessed on the bottom right-hand corner of those gateways. Like, that is not what I expected either.
Actually, me neither. Like, absolutely not. But Drogo, he's now He is 20 supply behind, but he did throw out a lot of gateways, and that was a lot of money, so that supply will ramp up pretty quick. Also went for a pretty damn early Archon with this. And this Raven, I think Clem was hoping that that got more done than it did, honestly. And Drogo, like, if he's going to survive here, and we're going to make a game out of this could be nice for him. The Widowmine starts off not getting a shot off, but the next one doesn't. He's actually retreating in here. I mean, there is a shield battery, which is great, but that is a hell of a lot of buy. Oh, the friendly fire.
Yeah, those charge lots able to do some nice damage there to the Terran army through, you know, their own units. Now, charge lots are starting to get whittled down. There's only 2 left over, but that Archon still acts as both a tank and also something you really do want to run away from. So Clem gets forced back. He has another one of these Widowmine drops getting ready to move forward, but at a very awkward angle where it's going to be kind of running straight past the entire army over here.
It does, and oh my god, those probes, they were stacked pretty hard, and oof. Like, Drogo's actually playing really well this game. Oh, an Archon does fall, a second Archon fall. That's all his flash. All it takes is one moment for Clem to pounce on you, and that's exactly what he did here, but his army is super red, and he will need to get out of here.
Yeah, having stand up so many times, it makes it hard for Clem to fight too much longer. Widowmines are going to be able to get a couple of shots off. It kills 3 workers, and I think maybe a Stalker or something there. Drogo doing a nice job with that Blink Stalker micro, though, and he's going to be able to find this army thanks to the Observer. Forces it even further back. This has been a really stellar game so far from Drogo for the most part.
Yeah, it definitely has. Like, he's still got that Raven in the back. Oh, this could be a nice pounce by Drogo.
Yeah, he's going to dive on forward, gets one of the medevacs, and really aggressively charging on forward. The Widowmines, is he going to notice them this time? He does notice it, but still loses quite a few workers. He really needs this attack to do a lot now.
He certainly does. He's relying on 0 upgrades here. That is a beautiful Guardian shield, as Kevin would say, but I think there's just too little here. Drogo took a good fight, but maybe pushed his luck one too many times here.
That's really going to hurt. He does not find the Raven either. That can get repaired back up, even if there is, say, some, well, I guess these High Templars still being warped in, but no storm or anything. But yeah, I mean, if the Raven just gets repaired back up, it builds up some energy. Imagine just a nice interference matrix on a Warp Prism or even just on an Archon, take it out of the fight. This is a really tough spot right now for Drogo.
I tell you, like, these Widowmine drops, even though the first 1 or 2 got deflected really well, the fact that Clem kept going for it, it really worked out. Even here, they both scout each other. I don't know who that's better for. I think it's better for Clem. He's reacting immediately to where that Warp Prism was heading. The thing for Drogo that's really sad is, tech-wise, he's got none of it, man. I know he's got Archons out on the map, but there's Ghost Academy coming down, and Clem's army is just really big and strong.
It's definitely a scary position over here because, you know, there used to be like this way that a lot of pro players would think about things where it's you could either have like the splash damage or you could have like, you know, the double forges cranking out upgrades. Okay, it's still not amazing, but it's definitely better than I thought that was going to be for a moment. The Widowmines do get cleaned up with 4 workers killed, and Zealot Harassment is not going to be super effective. Ooh. And the Prism goes down in the main. Oh, no.
I just saw Drogo's face. He was like, what the hell? You were ready for that? And it's like, yeah, buddy. I saw it on the left side, and I was waiting the whole time. And Clem, he scans his arm, and he's like, you know what? I can take that. Even though this isn't Clem's full army here, he's microing really well as Clem.
Yeah, I mean, Clem is up against a 0-0 Protoss army that does not have Storm yet. Storm is about to finish, and there are a few High Templars that were warped in. We got 3 High Templars out on the map right now. I've been building up energy. 2 more High Templars getting warped in, and he's getting cleaned up on some of these Widowmines. So, you know, things are looking really bad for Drogo, but he is finding little ways to keep himself in this game right now.
Yeah, the thing that I'm worried about is he's so low on probes here, and this isn't even Clem's full army, man. And that is the smallest anti-armor missile I've ever seen, but all right, he's defending, he's attacking, and there is Storm available, I do believe, but look at Clem.
Yeah, kind of whiffing those storms. Is finally starting to land a few over here, and this army for Clem is very stemmed up. Not only that, but Drogo has been doing a great job of sniping off medevacs throughout this entire game. He has been able to keep a lot of those pinned back, but there are more medevacs out on the map. He's going to be reinforcing the rest of his army. Taking out the charge lots. Clem still very low on hit points. Widowmine's getting some great shots off on those zealots, though.
I mean, Drogo really is like diving through the fire here, really trying to push Clem to the limit. But Clem, I think, even though he might take out that fourth base, that was a lot of his army shooting at that CC instead of fighting with the rest of his army. Great storm there from Drogo. Clem's army's very red despite the huge supply lead.
Oh, but the ghosts come out, the EMPs. As soon as the Archons are gone, the Zealots are gone, the Prism is gone, the Immortal's gone, and Drogo is gone. Clem takes the 3-0.